Well, ISIS is advancing through Iraq as Baghdad launches a counteroffensive in an attempt to regain territory near Ramadi. Now, Defense Secretary Ash Carter is speaking out for the first time since that key city fell to ISIS, with some tough words for Iraqi forces.
The Iraqi forces just showed no will to fight. They were not outnumbered. In fact, they vastly outnumbered the opposing force, and yet they failed to fight. They withdrew from the site, and that says to me, and I think to most of us, that we have an issue with the will of the Iraqis to fight ISIL and defend themselves.
Kevin Corke is live at the White House for us. Kevin, some tough words from Secretary Carter. How can we be basing our strategy, though, against ISIS on Iraqi forces?
Precisely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head right there, Heather. How can we do that? And that's the question on the minds of a lot of people, especially on Capitol Hill. I mean, the mindset, however, from the White House perspective is, yes, Kevin, that is exactly what we want. It's Iraq's country. It's Iraq's fight. We should let the Iraqis do the heavy lifting themselves, with the Americans coming in and providing some assistance. But given what's happened in Ramadi and so many other places in Iraq and elsewhere, there are a lot of people on the Hill, especially like Arizona Senator John McCain, who really believe it is time to rethink that strategy.
We need to have a robust strategy. We need more troops on the ground. We need forward air controllers. We're just referring to airstrikes. Do you know that 75% of those combat missions return to base without having fired a weapon? It's because we don't have somebody on the ground who can identify a static, a moving target.
Ground troops. That's exactly what the senator said he wants more of. But what he didn't do right there, Heather, was talk about a specific number. We still don't know what more would mean to John McCain.
Well, White House officials are still ruling out U.S. ground troops in Iraq, right?
That's right. No question about that. In fact, I even asked Press Secretary Josh Earnest that very question this past week. I said, well, wouldn't 10,000 more American troops, for example, help on the ground? And he quickly made the pivot, and he tried to talk about 150,000 troops. But when it got right down to it, Heather, he said the White House has been consistent on this issue. They say they will reject at every chance the idea of more troops.
The president, based on his judgment and based on our country's experience in the last invasion of Iraq, does not at all believe that that's in the best interest of the United States of America. And that the better way for us to approach this situation is to build up the capacity of the Iraqi people, the Iraqi government, and Iraqi security forces to take the fight to ISIL in their own country.
And there it is. Let the Iraqis handle the fight themselves. The Americans will help them degrade the enemy, but the fight ultimately will rest in the hands of the folks who call Iraq home.
Right.
Heather?
We're going to talk much more about the strategy and whether it's working or not throughout the show. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Kevin Corke.
You bet.